Now that the attack button and the attack action is working, let's implement the next action we want to support in this game. And that is the special attack action, and therefore the special attack button that should work. The idea here is relatively simple. I want to do the same as in attack monster, but we should deal more damage. On the other hand, and to not make this too powerful, the special attack should therefore not be available all the time, but only every 3 rounds. So let's start by adding this method though. I'll name it special attack monster, and in here I want to calculate an attack value, but let's say between 10 and 25 damage points. So we have the potential to do quite a lot of damage. Of course, just as before, we then reach out to the monster health and deduct the attack value from it. And also just as before, the monster should still attack us back thereafter. It does not just attack back if we launched a normal attack, it also attacks back if we use a special attack. So here we call attack player thereafter to make sure that we as a player are attacked after we launched a special attack. Now, with that, we can connect this special attack button here, again by adding a click listener, and then by pointing at the special attack monster method we just added. And if we save that and save the JavaScript file and reload, if I click special attack, I'm doing a lot of damage to the monster, as you can tell by its quickly shrinking monster health bar. But the problem is that right now we can spam this attack. So winning would not be too hard because we can press the same button over and over again. And therefore I want to restrict this powerful attack. It should only be available every 3 rounds. And when it's not available, this button therefore should be disabled. So how could we implement that? How could we make sure that this is the way it works? Well, we could keep track of the number of rounds the game is already lasting. For that, we can add a new data property because we got a new piece of data we want to change and update and be aware of. And I'll name this current round. I'll add it here to the data property and not add it as a regular JavaScript variable, for example, because we'll need access to it from inside the Vue instance, and Vue needs to be aware of when it changes. And that is all the case if something is a data property in the Vue app. So now we got the current round, we start at 0, and I want to increment that round, of course, whenever we do anything. So whenever we attack and so on. Whenever that happens, the round should change. So therefore, for example, when we attack the monster, I'll set this current round ++ to increment it by 1. When the monster attacks us, I'll not do it because that will still be the same round, right? The monster attacks us whenever we did something, so we don't need to change the round again when that happens. But we need to change it when we launch a special attack, of course. So now we got this current round. How can we now use it to control the special attack button? Well, we can go back to index.html and disable the button if the current round is not divisible by 3. That makes sure that we can only use it every 3 rounds. To achieve this, we can set the disabled attribute of a button, but of course not like that, but instead to a dynamic value, and we can do that on attributes as you learned with vbind, or again, this shorthand of just : disabled. And I want to set this to true or false. And true or false should be derived based on the current round. So here we can access current round. So this current round data property we added. And use the modulus operator, which we have in JavaScript, to divide it by 3 and find out what the remainder of this division is. And we know if the remainder is not 0, then this was not divisible by 3, and therefore we know we're certainly not in the 3rd or 6th or 9th round. And we only want to enable the button in those rounds. So we'll disable it if the division of 3 does not leave a remainder of 0. If we saved it and reload, the special attack is available, but once I clicked it, you see it's become gray. And now I need to do 2 more normal attacks before it's enabled again. So this is now working the way it should. But as so often, I don't necessarily want to have that logic in my HTML code, and therefore I'll cut it here, go back to app.js, and add a new computed property, which we could name may use special attack. And in here we simply return this calculation, now using the this keyword though, since we're in the Vue instance. And with that we can use the may use special attack computed property here, just like that, to make sure that the button is disabled when it should be disabled. So that's working now, and with that we ensure that we only have access to the special attack every 3 rounds. And that's the special attack functionality implemented.